Hello again, everyone. You are watching the Vintage Sewing Machine Garage, and I am about to attempt a test. The test to see if my efforts at hacking and hobbling together the right bobbin case for a Singer 191J that Singer decided they were going to do differently. They don't do this very often, but they did in this case. So I wanted to, first of all, demonstrate for you how to wind this, how to load the bobbin case. So many of the bobbin cases, for example, the ones that point to the right, which are very common. Many of you will see these on the Class 15 machine. When you load them, of course, you load them with the thread hanging over toward your right, right? What do I mean by that? If you hold the bobbin, the thread's hanging on the right side. It's going clockwise, right? And of course, you would put that in and you would come, and then you double back because the slot goes, toward 11 o'clock. And then you come around and you finish pulling it under its spring, and there you go. Well, that's not how you do it with this particular bobbin that I have put together. The bobbin, the original bobbin, I'm not doing anything differently than original, except we're going to go in the opposite direction. So notice, again, this is the bobbin case that I put together. I've got the original bobbin case, but the spring and the screw I had to take off the cheap, crappy one that I bought because it didn't want to go onto the drive shaft of the shuttle. So this loads differently, and it shouldn't surprise you. What am I going to do? I'm going to take the bobbin, and I'm actually going to let the thread hang on the left. So the thread is coming counterclockwise. I'm holding it in my left hand. You may have to do this opposite, obviously. If you're left-handed, I am not. So we take, you can see the bobbin case, and you can see the slit, right? I'm going to have to, it's very common when you load bobbin cases, you often will double back. You'll load something like thread, and then it turns back on itself. So I've put the bobbin in like that, right? I've got my thread. So even though the thread is moving counterclockwise, I'm going to actually go into the little slit here, right? And I'm coming back around, right? And then I'm going to pull it, and you can see this top plate here. You can see it's shinier than the older case. It makes it a little easier to see, actually. And I'm just going to come under. Remember, I've come up through the slit, and now I want to pull down and under this little, looks like a little leaf, right? That spring is kind of like a little leaf hugging onto the round case. And it's just going to come around, and now I have it right here, and I can pull on it, right? And it's just going to hang just like that. Okay? Now, this is the thing that was the problem with the new case, because it is not machined or produced at the exact engineering spec that Singer had. And again, if you've ever bought, cheap tools or anything, they don't make much of anything the way they used to. It's close, it's close, but not exact. But let's see what happens. All right, make sure I've got my thread here, and we're going to angle down, we're going to zoom in. Of course, my fat hands here will probably cover everything, but we'll try. And before I do that, I'll put the flashlight on my head to free my hands up. Okay. All right, so here we go. I'm going to come down in here, right? Remember, the little finger has to align with that notch in the top. If it doesn't, you're not going to have any progress at all. And some of you will find this easier than I do because my hands are so wide here. All right, so make sure your bobbin doesn't come off. And you can see it wants the little spin around, so let's pull it around. Now, once I have it lined up, I can just go, and you can hear a little click. And it's clipping onto that little groove that I showed you in the drive shaft. Now, I've got to get my thread up, obviously. So let's pull back out so you can see more of what's going on up here. Okay, now, as I mentioned in the earlier video, I have my machine correctly threaded. We are threaded left to right. which is different than a lot of other singers. And that was one of the things that tricked me up. Okay, I'm going to come down, and there we go. I just pulled up my little purple thread. I have like an orange thread at the top, and then the one on the bottom is kind of a, I don't know, a burgundy or something. And we're going to see. Don't get my threads all tidied up here. I'm going to pull my thread back. Okay, and now I've got my top thread, and I've got some. This is very lightweight. Like a muslin cotton or something. Nothing heavy or fancy. Just something I pulled, and I can always try other fabrics as well. But I wanted to just, I'm not asking the machine to get tough here. I'm just trying to get a good stitch going. All right, put my needle down, hold my thread tails, and hold my breath. All right, and this machine came out of a treadle. It came out of a treadle table, so I'm literally turning my hand to get the stitching going. It doesn't have a motor, so. I think I should zoom in a little bit better so you can see what it's doing. All right, let's see. I'm gonna try to pull out. What did I get? I think I might have gotten a big fat mess. That's what I've gotten here. All right. Well, if first you don't succeed, you know the old saying. Right now I've got orange thread all tangled up in there, and look at that. Well, that's that's something else, isn't it? Look at that. Okay. Well, back to the drawing board. We're going to have to take a look and see what's going on with this thing. Why is it being so fussy? As I mentioned, just because a machine is pretty, and this one's gorgeous, it doesn't mean it's going to sew for you. So be careful when you go to buy a machine. I didn't buy this when I'm working on it for someone, but be very careful, because you can really you can buy something thinking, well, look, surely it's going to sew well because it's so pretty. No, that is not always the case, and you can see that here. So let's see what else I can come up with here. I'm going to get my top thread pulled up out of the bobbin area where it's currently in a miserable state. I know that sometimes some of you, this will happen to you, and you'll tell people, maybe you tell people that you know that you sew, and they don't understand, or they don't believe you, or they're not sure. One of the things I'm noticing here is that, I don't know if this happened, how this happened, but the bobbin case is not currently engaged. Let's see. I think I've got more thread. You'll find that when thread starts to get tangled, it creates all sorts of other problems. It might surprise some of you, and I think I've tried to show this before, just how strong thread is. Thread can stop a big beefy machine like this in its tracks, especially in areas like your bobbin case and your shuttle. So you want to, if that happens to you, stop. Don't keep going, because you don't want to damage the machine. And I'm not saying that thread can easily damage machine, but you know, it's I see what's going on. I've got my needle thread back down there again. Let's see what I've got now. Okay. See if I can pull out my, what I'm trying to do is get my bobbin case out of there. And trying to get it to let go. Let go. Like I say, thread is very strong. Stronger than you think. And you don't want to strong arm your bobbin case either, because your bobbin case, you know, it's got a spring in it, right? You know, don't muscle it around. Be you know, kind of work with it. Let it. Sometimes turning the hand wheel will help, because I've still got that. If I would just unthread my needle, yeah, I'll have to thread it again. That would prevent that orange thread from coming, just making things worse for myself. let's see here. Yeah, there's something thread that's gotten in there that's sort of holding the bobbin case, you know, like a dog with a bone. It doesn't want to let go. So now I just clipped it in again. All right, let's see if I can try again to remove it. Just wiggling it around here. There she comes. All right, so, all right, do I still have spring? Yes, yeah. So it's, you know, still fine. The little screw is still there. So, by the way, whenever you take a bobbin out that is threaded into your bobbin case, don't pull it back. Don't pull the thread backwards. Cut the thread. And then the thread remnant, pull it through. Where is it? Oh, fell out. You always want to pull it through the same direction you threaded it. That helps keep your bobbin case happy. You can actually damage them if you do that often enough. Okay, so what are we going to do here? We're going to try again. Try again to get this thing threaded. And I'm going to go and do what I did before. Right, so I've got the thread coming over counterclockwise. So I'm going to go back into this little slit, which means it's kind of double backing on itself. Let's see. Well, and maybe I might lighten the screw just a tad, just a little bit, not much. You don't want to lose that screw, trust me. All right, I'm going to try again. I think I'll come underneath this time. And if I hold, you see, one of the reasons the instructions tell you, read the instructions. When you go to put your bobbin case in, if you pull on this little spring lever, it'll hold your bobbin in place. It'll prevent it from rolling out because you don't want the bobbin to get loose as you're trying to put all this together. So I'm going to insert this and let's see. Insert this and line up the little finger with the bobbin case. And it seems to be in. Let's take a look and make sure. It's like a little piece of thread. All right. Practice makes perfect, they say. All right. Well, the thread came up easy enough. All right. Now, let's see. I have got my bobbin thread is coming. You know, I got my thread tail here. Got my top thread. Shorten my thread tails. Okay. Will we have any success? Who knows? I'll get a piece of fabric and we'll try it again. All right, I have part of what was an old pillowcase, sort of a light cotton here. I think it's actually, I've probably got 4 layers here, but it's a lightweight fabric. I'm not really worried that will impact our test. I'm going to stay away from the seam for now. We have to crawl before we can walk. So let's come over on this side. All right, let's see if we can get something better than what we got just a while ago. This dark fabric will also give us better contrast. I don't always succeed, but I try to do that in my test because it's easier for you, and for me, quite frankly, to see a stitch. And just to be extra, we'll just see if that'll actually back tack for us. Why not? Okay. So, this is the top stitch. Now remember, for those of you who are new to sewing, the top thread, its tension quality is determined by the tension that is placed by the bobbin case. Ooh, I was afraid to turn this over. But look, the bottom thread's tension is determined by the upper tension assembly. And here you can see, I think this is where I was doing some back tacking here. But now you can see the stitch is very, very consistent, very balanced. Well, I'm still not yet ready to call a success here, but we're going to try it. This machine is going to be reinstalled back into its treadle table. Going to adjust the belt, and then we're going to see if it actually sews. And you just never know. But again, I hope this was helpful for you all. If you ever are restoring a machine and your machine calls for a bobbin that looks like that, don't try to use one of those. It doesn't work. And again, having to literally take a brand new reproduction bobbin, borrow its spring, and go and put it onto, this is the other bobbin, just use it for example, and had to attach it to the old bobbin to see if it would work. And it was a complete experiment. So far, so good. When this machine is returned to its owner, the owner will be the one to decide if the machine stitches to their satisfaction, because no compensation is taken until the owner's happy. So I hope this was helpful for you all. And again, there are always exceptions to the rule, and Singer, of all the manufacturers, is my favorite for consistency, parts availability, getting things, oh my goodness, all over the planet you can get parts for Singers. They are the easiest brand to restore, but even the easy ones sometimes produce challenges like that. So thank you for watching, everyone. I so appreciate it.